Namaste everyone. I am Prakash Pandey, a student of MPhil second semester from Nepal Open University. Today I am going to deliver a short presentation on an article, A Great Way to Fly, Nationalism, the State and the Varieties of Third World Feminism, written by Geraldine Heng in front of you. I hope you will enjoy it. Friends, the article, A Great Way to Fly, was published in a journal entitled Feminist Genealogies, Colonial Legacies, Democratic Features in 1997. The editors of the journal were Jackie Alexander and Chandra Talpade Mohante. In fact, the writer of the article, Professor Dr. Geraldine Heng, is the faculty of Cornell University in the USA. In fact, she is the associate professor of English and comparative literature with a joint appointment in Middle Eastern Studies and Women's Studies at the university. In this article, the writer examines the conflict between traditional gender ideology and a movement for the liberation of women in third world countries. Actually, the writer Hang seems quite critical towards the movement of women's freedom in the third world countries throughout this essay. She says feminism in the third world countries has different forms and appearances. In some countries, it is an organized national movement, whereas in other countries, it arises spontaneously around issue centered activity. She has coined a special term for it, hit and run guerrilla feminism. In those countries, it is mostly carried or supported by the small temporary groupings like non governmental organizations, NGOs. She says here the NGOs raise some specific human rights violence cases with a much stress. They focus on the particular issues, but they never raise the agenda of woman empowerment permanently, or they don't act upon the overall upliftment of the feminine gender. The writer believes that all third world feminism are based on the principal factors that condition their emergence and survival. Out of them, the first factor is history itself. Writer Hang thinks that feminism has always been connected with historical, political, and cultural revolutions. And those historical revolutions have always overshadowed the character and the future prospects of feminism. She says here feminism has arisen in the third world along with nationalist movements such as anti colonial or anti imperialist struggles, national modernization, reform movements, religious nationalists, cultural nationalist revivalism, etc. Similarly, she adds here feminism has coexisted with these movements in a complicated relationship of sympathy and support, mutual use and mutual cooperation, and some kind of acknowledged rivalry tensions. Feminism has been supported by all these historical political movements in some aspects, whereas it has been opposed to, and those historical movements are also the cause of overshadowing the issues of the agendas of feminism. To give emphasis on her argument, the writer has cited the study made by Kumari Jayawardene in 1986. In the study, Jayawardene has stated that feminist movement in the third world have almost grown out of the same historical soil and at a similar historical moments as nationalism. Here Jayawardene has also connected nationalism with feminism. Hang further adds her logic. Throughout global history, some pivotal terms were coined linking feminism with land, language, history, etc., such as motherland, mother tongue, mother culture, etc. Many more words that arouse the national sentiments are connected to feminism in the long run of the history. This also proves that how interconnected feminism and nationalism are. The second factor that influences feminism in the third world, as mentioned by Heng, is the presence or intervention of the state itself. As I have already said, Heng is quite critical towards the role of state or the government in the violation of feminism in the third world countries. She says in contemporary Southeast Asia, the state is a fiscal beneficiary of the exploitation of women. Moreover, it acts as an active agent, structuring the exploitation itself. For example, in Thailand and the Philippines, the state's GNP is bolstered substantially by prostitution that supports the tourist trade and sustains foreign exchange income. In a study made by Tan in 1991, a Thai NGO estimates that there were 2 million prostitutes by the year 2000, out of which 800,000 would be under would be children under 15 years of age. This also shows how miserable the condition of feminism is in the third world countries. The government or the state itself is playing the active role for the violation of feminism, for the exploitation of female rights in those countries. Likewise, in a study made by Hager and Wee in 1992, Philippines export 60,000 female domestic workers to Hong Kong alone and earns 1 billion Hong Kong dollar annually from remittances. Similarly, there were 65,000 foreign domestic workers in Singapore in 1992, and Singapore government also earns 234 Singapore dollar annually from the maid levy. This also proves that how the governments are being benefited from the violation of feminism. Heng further says the forceful divergence of feminist and national interest in the third world is further complicated because the state is forcing the females to be involved in such kind of exploitative work through legal rules or by the use of administrative or military force. That's why there is no chance of the rage of raising the voice of feminism in those countries. According to Heng, the third factor influencing feminism in the third world is the conflict between nationalism and the approaches of modernity. According to her, some conservative nationalists believe that feminism is the issue of Westerners, and they have intentionally raised this issue as a part of Western imperialism, thinking that they hate the issues raised by feminism. Uh, According to in a study made by Philip in 1978, anti-feminist nationalists have historically presented feminism as a subversive figure at once of destabilizing modernity and of a presumptuous Western imperialism. Likewise, uh, Heng suggests the governments or the state agencies of Third World to give more priority to the issues of feminism so that they could bring females in the mainstream of development. Although some of the efforts are taking place in those countries, but they are not sufficient to improve the condition of females. So, feminism must assume decisive priority. Besides all these weaknesses, the role of political parties and a political movement is very strong to raise the agendas of females emancipation in the third world countries. Hang has mentioned about some of the political parties which have been raising the agendas of feminism from the days of their establishment. Just for example, People's Action Party in Singapore, Malayan Communist Party in Malaysia, Angatan Wanita Sedar, AWAS in Malaysia, AWARE Association of Women for Action and Research in Singapore, Gerakan Wanita Indonesia, etc. Friends, I would like to wrap up my presentation with this. All the information and data mentioned in this presentation are based on the article by Caroline Hang. Thank you, Hang, for all this information. Thank you all for your invaluable time for this presentation. Namaste. Have a good day.